another episode of the group chat. We are coming from a proper studio, makeshift studio, some could say.
Proper makeshift.
A proper makeshift studio. We're in a proper set, so no green screen today. We have a couple things. We've got a couple nice trees. I'm not sure if you can see. Yeah, you can see a couple of trees. We've got some natural lighting coming through, and we have Steven Adams in for a special episode. Obviously not playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder anymore. He's playing for the Houston Rockets, but it is only fitting that we have big Steven Adams in because the A-League kicks off this weekend with Auckland FC, the Black Knights, who Steven Adams does have. He's part of the ownership crew, so it's only fitting. Anyway, you're joined by myself, Charlie Wilson, and Phil. Good to have you back in the office, Phil.
Thank you.
How'd you go throughout the weekend?
Yeah, I think up until Sunday it was great.
Yeah?
Sunday, then my voice disappeared, so it's good to have it back. And you know what? Sports-wise, some pretty good games. NPC in particular.
Yeah.
We talked about upsets last week. I don't think we talked about Canterbury being an upset ever in contention for that game, but that was probably the biggest result of the weekend.
Yeah, well, they just wiped the floor off the Marcos, didn't they?
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think back to the weekend now. First games of cricket, 2 T20s in the bag, 1-1, lost one. Nearly defended 105 in the second T20, which low-scoring game, but would have been wild. And then Sunday, I don't know what I got up to on Sunday. It wasn't a very nice day, though, so I was planning on getting out for some golf. No golf. The golf day on Friday was lit, though. Such a good day. Gin stands, bacon buddy stands, burger stands, an auction. I think there was only one winner. They didn't give us second and the third prize out, but I reckon we came in second, potentially. Bagged myself a petrol voucher and some gin. So
no second and third.
Nah, they had a lot of...
You didn't know. You didn't find out.
Feedback from the previous years where there could have been a little bit of cheating or so-and-so going on. So instead of doing a first, second, and third giveaway for the winners, they just announced first place and then random prizes for the other teams. Weirdly enough, the winner, we're at the auction, and the winner of the golf day, we all had team names. And, I would have expected it to be a kind of exciting time, a couple of cheers, like a hoorah, the crowd clapping. The team that won, their name was Dead Sheep. That was the reaction. Literally that.
I'm just trying to understand why.
I think everyone in the room was. So they got up and announced, then the winner is with 52.1, Dead Sheep. And it was that. And everyone was like, what? And anyway, this old bloke went up and got the prize.
Sheep.
I don't know what the prize was.
Oh, maybe they consider themselves like dead sheep.
Because he's an old bloke?
Yeah, old fella. It's not like mutton. They're just they're proper. They're like expired.
Yeah.
But golf is a retirement sport, so it makes sense.
It's an old man's game. And I'm playing it.
How's the back?
Yeah, it was actually... I tell you what, I was more sore on Sunday after 2 games of cricket. So golf into the cricket. It was a little bit sore come Sunday, but, a little bit of recovery, get on the foam roller, have a good roll. No, it was good. And then around the grounds, we had, obviously, NPC. We talked about America's Cup, and my goodness, Team New Zealand's too good. We're up to a 4-0 lead over
4-0
Britannia with 2 races coming overnight tomorrow. So we've got a chance to go 6-0 up. I think the odds for us to win are very low.
Yeah.
But is that right? The odds are low. The chances are high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bathurst?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? What?
Just the one thing I saw from that, I think they were up 3-0 at one point.
America's Cup?
Yeah. And then there was that interview post-race. I don't know if you heard it.
No.
With the Britannia skipper.
Yeah.
Ainsley, whatever his name is. And they're just like, basically something like, do you still think you guys are, matching them for performance and, being competitive? And this guy basically just said, he's like, oh, maybe that's the Kiwi commentary in you sort of thing, jabbing back at him. And he was like, yeah, I'll take that on the chin. And then his mic was still live. And you could just hear the skipper just swearing at him, calling him like an effing all this sort of shit. It's so funny.
What? Calling the reporter?
The commentator, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I saw that clip. That was good.
True. I mean, I feel like
funny.
there's always a bit of controversy around the America's Cup. Obviously, when we were facing Spittle and he was Aussie and we lost, we went up 8 to -2 in the first to 9 and came back and lost that. And I think Ainsley's been involved with some drama before as well. So I don't know. Did you watch any of the races?
No.
They're at 1 a.m. And I actually got back from the cricket club at about 1 a.m. So I watched the first race.
Perfect.
And it's all about the start in the America's Cup. If you can get a good start away and then you just basically execute the basics.
Avoid the penalties.
Yeah. Before the actual race starts, the timer starts, that's the most interesting part, to be honest. But those boats are super impressive. My goodness.
It's like an F1 car of the water, isn't it, really?
Yeah, they are flying. It's actually pretty cool to see. And then I just watched the highlights of the other races. But we just look too quick, too dominant. We nail the start every time. We're just different gravy.
It's good to see. All Blacks of the water.
The All Blacks of the water. And then we go over to Aussie for Bathurst. Did you take note of Bathurst on Sunday? It looked like a mint day over there.
Yeah, watched a couple of hours, had a couple of stints there watching them go around.
Yep.
Was checking to see how Chaz was getting on, and they were okay. I think they got the top 5, which is good to see. But seemed like the pack leaders had it for most of the race.
Yeah.
So somewhat.
It was, and there was no safety car until the 100 and something flat either, which was pretty crazy for Bathurst. And I mean, it looked like a mint day. It's a full-on day. The crowd looked good. Mount Panorama was looking good. And Brody Kostecki comes out as king of the hill.
Took it out,
in a Chevy, baby.
Yeah.
I knew it would be a Chevy. And his partner Hazelwood, they won by a gap of 1.3 seconds as well. So the odds on for the winning gap for over 3 seconds was the favourite, paying like $3. But
that's close.
The one between two, I think, was paying about $7, which is where I was looking for a little bit of value on Friday.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool to see. I would like to go to Bathurst.
I wouldn't mind it.
It would be a cool race day.
Yeah.
And saying that, I'd love to go to the America's Cup as well in Barcelona. I think I'd just love to get my hands on anything, get around to anything and any sporting event, really, like a major one. What else did we have? We had the NFL. That's week 6 all wrapped up, and Favourites 8. We'll touch more on that later, but if you're a favourites man, you would have liked this weekend. Thankfully, after underdogs have dominated the opening 5 weeks of the season, underdogs had been eating up until now. And then I guess if we look forward, we've got more America's Cup. We've got the Everest this weekend. Massive race over in Sydney.
Huge.
With some Kiwi influence in it, with, I guess, James McDonald as one of the jockeys. And then you've got I Wish I Win and
big
Jolly Star, who both got pretty good draws last night at the barrier draw. So saw the odds come in for both of them. In the A-League, we touched on that. A-League's kicking off. We have Auckland FC facing the Brisbane Roar at Mount Smart. Yep. We will be there in the Beach Zone. That'll be a bit of fun.
Looking forward to it.
Monumental game. First ever game for Auckland FC.
Debut game.
There,
Debut goal, surely. Come on. Debut win.
It'll be good to see them get 3 points on the board.
The treble.
If you can do it against Brisbane, it's a good start.
It's a good start.
Black Caps start tonight in Bengaluru. Well, hopefully start tonight. We were saying earlier, the India were paying about $1.30 to win the test after the BCs finished without a win in Sri Lanka. They went down 2-0 in a series over there. And then the rain. I was searching up Bengaluru weather after being told that it may be a rain-affected match. And it looks like they're having a heavy downpour for the next 5 days.
Yeah.
I think there's been some weather warnings put in place. Residents been told to stay inside and stay out of the wet as much as they can.
Draw's probably the favoured option now.
And I think draw is now paying about $1.20.
Well,
$1.30. India up to $3. So
they must be playing in Wellington. My goodness.
The basin on a dirty green seaman.
No good.
If they get on, India a good backing at $3. They might not need more than 3-4 days to beat the Black Caps, and it'll be the first time Tom Latham leads the team after Tim Southee steps down. In what was best for the team, is what he said. So interesting to see if they can get on. See how Tom Latham leads the team. It's good to see them bleeding a couple new. Well, not new, but they're just getting the younger guys through, more experience. You got the likes of Rachin in there, Willow Rourke. It's exciting times. I guess if we can come out, get some positive results from this Test series against India.
Yep.
And then the women's.
Yeah, semi-finals.
Made their way through the semi-finals.
Yeah.
And they'll face the West Indies, I think.
Indeed. South Africa versus Australia.
Aussie, the odds-on favourite there.
Yep, no doubt.
Yeah, I think, they're a tough team to beat on any day. But the White Ferns are feeling like when they play their best, they can beat any team in the world, and they're kind of peaking at the moment. So if they can show up and show out, led by Amelia Kerr, Jess Kerr playing a part, Sophie Devine, couple good names in there that should
definitely,
if they can fire, we should be able to get at least over West Indies and into that final. I don't like facing Aussie in the final though, so hopefully your South Africans can get up over Aussie. Don't know what the likelihood of that is though.
No.
Anyway, shall we move into a bit of a quarterfinal review? Did you watch?
Let us move.
Did you watch Friday night
goodness.
at the stadium?
My goodness, no, I did not. You watch
it on TV?
Absolutely watched it on the TV.
Yeah, you didn't weren't one of the 40 people in the crowd.
Thought probably not a great idea to go watch the game in Wellington when I've backed counties at $4.20. Rather watch it in the lounge with the flatties. An unrealistic bet perhaps, but $4.20 nonetheless. Wellington too good.
Yep.
Counties, I thought their sort of unforced errors really let them down. They were getting into good positions.
Untimely errors as well.
Just make some shocking errors that really let them down. And on the other side, you had a relentless Wellington team that had, I think, getting those players back in. You got TJ Perinara starting. You got Duplessis, Karifi, Asafa Almua, all starters. And then Ruben Love off the bench.
Yep.
It was just, they were too stacked. Cam Royard played well, but I think he came off around the 60 because gas tank sort of just ran out, and that comes down to a relentless Lions side, so they definitely deserved the win with a better team.
I think it was our defense that really stuck out. We got away off to a bit of a flyer, but we really had to defend for a lot of that second half, and Counties
got a lot of turnovers.
Got one second half try,
and
the defense stood up. So I reckon that's what would have taken the gas out of a lot of those, both Counties and Lions players. Was just Counties' relentless attack and the Lions standing up on defense, seemingly being a bit of a brick wall. They were too good and covered. Well, I guess the Lions covered the 11.5 spread, which my gut was saying no. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than that.
And it was for a time. I think it was around 10-point lead they had.
And I guess it's like all over the Wellington socials was we didn't forget what happened 2 weeks ago. So I guess it was a bit of a revenge game for them. They're in a bit of a revenge spot. Make sure to take care of business when it really mattered. So no, good to see Wellington through to the semi-finals of the MPC, and they are odds-on favourite to lift the trophy at $2 as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that Tasman have been kicked out.
Yeah,
shocking.
Do you want to just move straight to that game?
I think we moved through it as it happened. Yeah, Bay of Plenty versus Hawke's Bay. I don't know if you saw any of that.
Battle of the Bays.
Beautiful day in Tauranga there. Hawke's Bay looking good. Such a close game. It was really sort of neck and neck. Again, kind of some unforced errors going both ways, and I think it was a line out towards the end of the game, right last minute sort of stuff. Bay of Plenty got over the line.
Yeah.
So a well-deserved win. That was that game was thoroughly enjoying. That's kind of how you want a final to play out.
Yeah.
And it's neck and neck right until that last minute.
Yeah. Low scoring.
Low scoring. Emini Narawa looked really good. I think he's been good all season. And he performed again. I think he's their top try scorer as well. I think he's record-breaking top try scorer for
Really?
Bayer Plenty, in fact. Yeah. And then another close game after that.
An even closer game.
Taranaki, a one-pointer. Waikato dominating. I think they were up 12-0. Taranaki only got into the game once Waikato had received that yellow card for yet another high tackle.
Yep.
Another unfortunate high tackle, I would say.
Yep.
Similar circumstances to the week before. Made the contact, the shoulder rode up, and it was, given a yellow. So, and that's when Taranaki pulled it back a little bit, but a little too late. Waikato got the job done.
A tense last 20 minutes. No points scored from the 61st minute after that penalty to go up. So, really, it was anyone's game from 60th minute onwards.
Yeah.
And, you'll be happy about...
Stoked.
Waikato
underdogs. And Waikato underdogs again.
What were they paying?
They were $2.40. $2.40, I think.
Oh, yeah.
If I remember correctly from our pod last week. So that's decent value. And I'm sure there'll be something similar this weekend.
Yeah, should we check that really quickly?
Indeed. In the meantime, Canterbury 62, Tasman 14. I couldn't have picked that score. I don't know if many people would have.
They just freaking laid them out, and it was Big Brother was
from the get-go.
Nah, you ain't getting your way.
Poor turnout for Tasman as well. The crowd didn't show up. The weather looked shocking. It looked like Tasman didn't want to be there. I don't know if you saw, but on defense, it looked like they were shivering. Like they were like, "Get me off this field."
They had the shakes.
Canterbury
Ranfurly Shield hangover.
Canterbury were just pumping them. It was like they played with a hangover. They just didn't look in it at all, and the scoreline reflects that. So.
Well, yeah, they
huge from Canterbury.
Pumped. I think they were missing Tavanawa big time. He was there on the bench, or not even on the bench, and he was dressed up in his number ones. Watching that.
But you're talking about defense here, and I don't think one person changes your defense, especially one that's sitting on the wing.
Real unfortunate end to the season for Tasman, who dominated the whole year.
They did.
Really, I mean, they ended up third on the table in the end behind Wellington and Taranaki, but really disappointing. Sure. And it just goes to show that Ranfurly Shield hangover is a real thing. It happened to Hawke's Bay.
Yep.
And they lost their way fully, and unfortunately for the Marcos, it just happened at really the wrong time. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise that Wellington didn't end up getting that shield. So
maybe.
Yeah, well, I just checked. Waikato are paying $3.10 against Wellington this weekend. A pick him though. Well, not quite a pick him, but Bayer Plenty paying $1.72, Canterbury paying $1.97. And my goodness, it would just be so Canterbury to go through the season how they did, upset Tasman, and then make their way through to a final.
That would be impressive. I'm a little surprised. Yeah, I guess Bayer Plenty at home. Different gravy. Their defense look, we were talking about those previous results between Bayer Plenty and Hawke's Bay, and I thought both defenses looked far, far better than comparing it to last year's game, last year's quarterfinal in particular. They really reined it in. Same for Hawke's Bay, who normally get punished. You're looking at, on average, I don't know, it must be 30 points. So they improved, both teams improved on that game a lot. And so I don't think you'll be seeing a Canterbury scoreline like they had against Tasman.
No. Well, they'll have a lot of confidence to take in from that game. And if they can look anything like that, they'll give the Steamers a good run for sure. So definitely be tuning into that. Is that on the Sunday, that game, or are they both
Saturday? Saturday 4:10 into a Saturday 7:10.
Ooh, well, Saturday's a big day.
It's a big day.
Big day, because we're going to be at Auckland
Up
FC.
in Auckland.
We're going to be at Mount Smart. We're going
watching
to be
some football hit the net.
Yep. Big day of races as well.
Everest is on.
The Everest at Randwick. And then there's Caulfield Cup as well over in Victoria. So a huge day of racing, a huge day of football for New Zealand, and then a huge day of rugby.
It's big.
Yeah.
Good to see the A-League kick off. Premier League's back as well. Can't forget that.
Yep.
So
That'll be good to
plenty
get that
of
back
action.
in and underway. Speaking of, that's just reminded me, I need to do a Premier League tip sheet. My goodness. I've been, I guess I wouldn't say I was missing doing the tip sheets, but keep your eye out on them because we've actually been cooking in those, to be honest. The Premier League tip sheets. No, you don't want to have a word on the final? Who you think's going through? I do have the odds to take the whole thing out before pre-semi-final. If there's any value in the you like the look of.
Are you asking me who I see in the final?
To win the final. So now the futures odds for the NPC.
To win the final.
Yep. Wellington paying $2.
Yeah.
On the nose. Bay of Plenty $3.75.
Yeah.
Canterbury $4. Waikato $8.
Probably between Wellington and Steamers in the final.
Mm-hmm.
Wellington with their players that are back. If they stay fit and their fitness levels will improve off the back of last week. So like Safa Almoa went off kind of early. You can see his tank running, depleting. But he put in a good shift, so I think that only improves now. So probably Wellington.
Yeah.
The favourites make sense. I don't. Where would the final...
I'd be in Wellington if Wellington...
Right, because they finished above.
Yeah, they finished top. So I'd be at Sky Stadium.
Yeah.
Which we're looking out over at the moment.
It's looking good at the moment.
Oh, my goodness. On a good day in
If
Wellington,
it's like this,
Sky Stadium, you can't beat it.
No.
I wonder if they'll get a good crowd.
Yeah.
To a final, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to sell it out.
No.
They should just make it like $10 a ticket and just pack out the stands.
Yeah. They should. For an NPC game.
For an NPC final, you'd hope the atmosphere is electric.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that'd be cool. Well, hopefully next Saturday we can get through to the final.
Yeah, it's tough to call it now. You know, you don't know what happens at the weekend. What if Waikato squeeze another 1 point victory over Wellington per chance? Not because I'm a Waikato fan, but what if Canterbury comes out with this 60-point win over Bay of Plenty that no one would have seen coming?
I think I'd be more surprised if Wellington lose to Waikato than Steamers losing to Canterbury. That's my take.
That is a take. Is it a hot take?
Yeah. So I if you like,
look, let's say
the whole thing. $3.75 is good odds because you're not going to get those if they play a final against Wellington or against Waikato because they'll be favourites.
So you want to go now?
Anyway, should we look ahead to the A-League?
Yes.
Obviously, we've got 6 games this weekend, opening weekend. We have Auckland FC debuting against the Brisbane Roar, but the opening game is a rematch of last year's final, Central Coast Mariners.
Huge.
Versus the
final.
Melbourne Victory.
Yeah.
So that's a great way to kick things off.
Indeed.
And I like Melbourne Victory in it. I reckon they're going to go and, like Wellington, we're in a bit of a revenge spot against counties. I think Melbourne Victory are in a bit of a revenge spot, and Central Coast started slow last year.
Went 0-3. Lost 3-0 in their first game of the season too last year.
Yeah. And I think the Victory come out on top in the opening game.
Do you have the odds there?
Yeah, Melbourne Victory are paying $3.05 to win.
Wow.
So I'd be backing that, I think, to start the season off. And then you move to Auckland FC, Brisbane Roar, and you got the Newcastle Jets taking on Melbourne City. Been a bit of a dynasty in recent years. Sydney Wanderers.
Bit of a Sydney derby.
Yeah, Western Sydney Wanderers versus Sydney FC, who have Douglas Costa playing for them. I wonder if he'll suit up. But that would be cool. And actually, Western Sydney have Juan Mata as well. I don't know if he's going to suit up, but...
Do they really?
Yeah, Juan Mata.
Why do I not know
He's there too. Then you move to the Knicks versus Western United.
Yep.
And MacArthur, the Bulls taking on
It's a great first game for Phoenix.
Yeah, and it's at home for them as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they get on. They've lost a couple key players.
Yeah. They really overachieved last year as well. I mean,
They did.
They just took New Zealand by storm, I guess, in the end, and they just had the back in the whole country. It'd be interesting to see how that looks this year with having 2 teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't realize actually how long the A-League season is. But I think it's going to be a good season.
We'll be looking forward to the old Kiwi Classico, I think they're calling it.
Yeah, in round 3.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea of what you think a top 6 may look like come the end of the season?
Absolutely not.
No?
I think the A-League is very unpredictable.
I agree.
Apart from... yeah, it's really hard to say.
I could 100% see the Phoenix finishing second last year and getting through to a semi-final and not even making finals footy this year.
Yeah.
Like, that is a real possibility.
Yeah.
As much as I'd like to see both New Zealand teams through, that is a real possibility.
Yeah. I'd like to see both Kiwi teams do well. I'd like to see the derby have a big turnout as well. But as you say, Central Coast Mariners, they're not strangers to a slow start. I'd like to see how this first match day plays out and then sort of make predictions from there. But at the same time, when you have Central Coast Mariners losing 3-0 in their opening game and then going on to win the whole tournament, it's tough. Yeah. I wouldn't say unpredictable. It's not the NFL, but I'm genuinely looking forward to this season, though. I think it's going to be hella competitive.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, there's just they just keep getting the league just seems to improve year on year with the players they get in, and then just the talent, the upbringing of young talent as well. There's some young guns that come through, have good seasons, and then get big money deals. So, yeah. You've also reminded me that the Premier League is back this weekend.
Indeed.
I'd kind of just forgotten about that, if I'm going to be honest, because of international break. And Thomas Tuchel being named England manager.
Yes.
I kind of thought, for some reason in my head, we had another week of international friendlies, but
already
thank goodness.
Happened. Yeah.
We do not. How do you feel about Thomas Tuchel? Any thoughts there before we go into the Premier League?
After that Greece game, I thought there's no way this guy gets the job now. Interesting lineup to start with when you have Jude Bellingham and Phil Foden up the front. And then when you go down to Greece, then you decide to bring on 2 strikers after starting with none. Interesting calls. Thomas Tuchel, very experienced. I
can tell you the odds did not move to win the World Cup.
Yeah.
We had a quick look at that straight away.
Yeah.
Still paying $8, I think.
Yeah.
Brazil, the odds on
it's
favourites.
Tough spot to be in for England, but it's good to get a manager solidified now and really start to develop the squad the way he wants the squad to be playing and get those players in the right frame. So, yeah.
It's interesting, eh? We always talk about with the All Blacks and rugby in terms of World Cup cycles. Like, we're building now for a World Cup cycle to then go in 2027, have our best squad, the best players in their prime. It's weird how in football it doesn't quite happen the same, eh? Like, they could go through so many different phases, and it's like, you're building to a World Cup, but they're not really building to a World Cup because they come together for a couple of international friendlies. They come together for a qualifier here. They have a 2-week camp with a new manager every frickin' 6 months, it seems. Yeah. And then you've got players in and out of the squad. I don't know. It's just a weird one. So do you reckon, like, this is them looking ahead? Obviously, if they've got... Do you know what the deal is for Tuchel? Like, what his...
No, I think it was
literally...
They agreed to whatever a deal this morning. Haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I would assume so.
Like that... They've signed him as a manager to go and win the World Cup, I'm assuming.
Yes. When you invest in a manager like that, surely that is the agreement.
I don't know. Like, it just doesn't feel like you build to a World Cup for football. Like, it's almost like it just comes around and they pick their squad and you've got 3 weeks to prepare. And it's like, let's see what we can do. But anyway, Premier League is back, and Manchester United, much needed break, or you happy coming in and facing Brentford this weekend?
No, very happy to have it back. I would rather watch Man United play than not play. Hope to
Would you?
God. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
What do you? Then I wouldn't be a fan. That's crazy.
Yeah, but like it is a tough watch.
Sure, it's still the team that I support, and it's still the team that I enjoy watching. You know, as tough as it might be, you got to get through these transitional periods. I can't just jump to Man City and then come back once Man United's good again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I'm hoping for, we cannot concede in the first minute. We cannot. Brentford are good at it. If Mbeumo scores, my fantasy team would be unbelievably happy. Me, very disappointed. So look, we're at home. We need to start making it the theatre of dreams again. And I don't think we'll be losing Eric Ten Hag anytime soon, which is great. We now need to build for some results.
Yeah, but we've known that.
Yeah, but we can't. If you stick with the manager, which we are, which it seems like we will.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. They're very close. They know the system. They know what they're developing towards, supposedly. We now need results for the fans.
Yeah,
because otherwise the depression just kicks in and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then, being in 14th spot, horrible. Let's at least get into the top half.
It's a good goal,
which is crazy. Which is crazy to say.
Good goal to have.
We need some results, particularly at home at Old Trafford. You need to have good performances with the fans, and I think the players actually need to start showing that as well. A draw against a very good Aston Villa side is fantastic away from home, sure, but even some of the players...
You guys have been better away from home than
at home, which cannot happen.
Yeah.
Which cannot happen. And it's been a bit like that for the past few seasons. So performances at Old Trafford matter, and even guys like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would say, like, you know, they have to play more exciting, they have to play more attacking football when they're at home. He realised that. To our detriment sometimes, but at least it was enjoyable to watch. And you want to be the team that is making other teams scared when you go to Old Trafford, and you don't have that at the moment. It's just like you come to Old Trafford and we're just trying to squeeze out a win, or we're trying to squeeze out a draw, you know, and not concede. And
it's not like you're heading to the Etihad or you're heading to Anfield or the Emirates.
No. When you come to like Old Trafford, you should be fearful that you're going to get absolutely destroyed. You know, there should be like a threat of coming to Old Trafford. At the moment, it's like, this is just like any other stadium at the moment.
If we're talking recency bias, we talked about this the other week with one of my friends, was if you go to a Premier League game, where would be the best atmosphere you'd want to go to? Because he's a United fan. He was set in stone that Old Trafford.
Stretford End was the coolest thing I've ever experienced.
Yeah?
Stretford End, standing for 90 minutes, chanting for 90 minutes. Albeit it wasn't a good day. I think it was a 2-0 win against Leicester with Marouane Fellaini score, and I think Lukaku score mainly. This was under Jose Mourinho time.
Yeah.
But being in that vicinity next to those guys chanting the whole 90, incredible. I think the only other thing that might beat that is if you go to like Dortmund or something.
Oh, so you'd have to get out of...
And you see the yellow wall. Yeah.
Or those ultras, what do they call them in like Belgrade and all those?
See, that's actually kind of terrifying.
Those
I think my life's at risk.
That's when you're talking about a threat to go into Old Trafford. You're threatened.
You're walking out of a prison cell to get onto the field.
That's
what it looks like. Graffiti on the walls.
Yeah, and you got the SWAT team. Doof. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
the riot shields. Oh, that stuff's crazy.
So that I'd actually like to go to one of those games. I would. You'd have to go to the home. Oh, would you go on the home stand? You want to go to the away?
You definitely would not go to the away stand.
If you went to the home stand, though, you're just going to get mauled by diehard fans.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of Dortmund, I would like to see the yellow wall. I wouldn't want to be in the yellow wall. You just got these massive flags waving in your face. You can't really see the game. I want to be able to see it in person and be like, that's incredible.
Yeah. So you need to head to Germany then?
Yeah. I don't think I would. Obviously, being a United fan, would prefer any other club inside in terms of atmosphere and chanting. Right next to Stretford End was the creme for me, the top of the cake. But Liverpool, as much as I hate them, they seem to have some pretty good chants.
They do.
They are
Lewis Diaz chant
very, very good
my favourite
at making chants for players.
So good. So good. That's what we need some Auckland FC guys to do. In the Port, we're seeing a bit of that. It's going to be the Port end, and it's they want to be the most passionate and most vocal and something else, fan base in New Zealand. So,
Can't be that hard.
I mean, just get a couple chants together, get a good...
Wait, in New Zealand, not even, I reckon, hit the A-League.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that good. Yellow Fever are pretty good live, especially at a semi-final. But I don't think the ceiling is that high to become the best A-League fan base. So why not aim for the ceiling? And if they can get some chance going, much akin to how Liverpool... You know what the thing is with Liverpool? It's not to say I like their chance a lot. I think they're just really good at coming up with making chance for their players. And they all just buy in. They get behind it. And you just see a lot of videos like pre-game, post-game. There's just a guy on stage with a guitar singing all their chants. I think it's great.
Yeah.
The game needs it. And
you need to channel a bit of that Dutch energy as well from the Euros. A bit of that. If they can... Because their goal is to be standing for 90 minutes at the port end. Singing, chanting, clapping, just making noise the whole time.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to be close to that. We're going to be close to that action, I think. Yep. So we're on the corner in the Betcher zone.
Yep.
And then the port end is behind the goal. And so we're going to be at the corner flag. So if you're looking at the goal, we're on the left corner flag. Port end, we're down here.
Nice.
So we're going to be in and amongst the action.
Well, it's big claims from them, so hopefully we get to see some action.
Yeah, well, I've just joined the fan page. And it looks like they're starting early at about 12. Nice. They're going to meet somewhere, go to a bar, or get on the train, go to another bar, and then come on over en masse. Was their wording to Mount Smart. So we might
track them down there.
Yeah, catch up with some of them and just see what they're all about. I'm sure they'll be up for a chat, surely.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Also, football fans in general, just way better than American fans.
Yeah.
I was doing some comparisons yesterday. I was just trying to look about what we could do with Auckland fans. And all USA fans do. Like you said, the UFC is just USA, USA, USA.
I mean, look at
there's just no creativity.
What is it, Seattle FC? Go look at their chants, man. There's some great videos of Seattle FC. So British fans are fantastic. Football fans in general, even more so.
Yeah.
The atmosphere, there's just nothing like it.
Yeah. If we go back to the Prem, Arsenal taking on Bournemouth, they're away from home. Be expecting to pick up 3 points. I actually don't know if Odegaard's back, but if he is, great. If he isn't, we'll be fine. But the game of the round, Liverpool-Chelsea.
Indeed.
What are you expecting there? It is at Anfield. I reckon, I don't know what the odds are, but this will be a real test for Chelsea, and this could be a real prove it or lose it game for them.
It should be pretty 50-50. I mean, I was looking at their head-to-heads earlier, and I think it's about 26 wins to 24 in favour of Liverpool. The rest of those being draws. I think Liverpool have the advantage in terms of recent games.
Yep.
In fact, I think they even won 3-0 potentially in their last game. Aside from that, I think it was like 2 draws in a row, a 1-1 and a 0-0. So Chelsea have been good this season. Lost 1 game. Liverpool have lost 1 game. This is the test for Liverpool.
So you're seeing this as the test for Liverpool?
Yes.
I'm seeing this as the test for Chelsea.
Interesting. Well, Liverpool are top of the table at the moment. Don't forget. They have conceded the least amount of goals this season. 2, correct. I think this is more so the test for Liverpool to see if they can hold out at the top. If they lose to Chelsea, I think, here come Man City, here come Arsenal in their fine form. So
yeah, I can see that.
Liverpool need to stamp this one out to continue their streak, I think.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm seeing this as a test for Chelsea because...
Oh, yeah, of course it's a test.
Oh, yeah. Sure. But as a prove-it game, for them, they're going up against the top of the table, a club who have had the better of them in the past. And if Chelsea are really the team that they want to be this year, and they want to be in that top 4, top 3, maybe even top 2.
Yep.
Or at least, let's say, playing Champions League, because that's where they want to be.
Yep.
If they really want to be that team, they need to beat Liverpool away from home, I think. If they don't, it's not doom and gloom, but I think that kind of is a leveler for where they're at. Because if they can't beat Liverpool, I don't see them beating Arsenal. I don't see them beating Man City. But if they do beat Liverpool, then that kind of creeps in and being like, okay, yeah, We actually are a top 4 team here. We can compete with Arsenal. We can compete with City. And we could challenge a top spot or a Champions League at least. If you lose, feel like that inspiration and that kind of motivation behind being a top 4 team, not the motivation, that's not the right word, but that feeling that you can be a top 4 team and really compete goes out the window if you don't. Get a point. Get a point and win, maybe?
That's where I'm thinking. I think Chelsea would be happy with a point away from home at Anfield, whereas Liverpool would want the win. They would not be happy with the draw.
Would be happy with a point, no.
But looking at the last sort of 5 games, one of these is the EFL Cup, so let's just look at Prem. Actually, let's include it. They won 1-0 against Chelsea in the EFL Cup. Looking at the Prem, 4-1 was the most recent scoreline. So not 3-0. Then they drew 3 times. 1-1, 0-0, 0-0.
Weird, because, I mean, Liverpool aren't conceding goals, but Chelsea is scoring goals.
Yeah, I could see another draw happening here. That 2 goals conceded this season is a factor at home as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think, Liverpool will be happy with the point.
Their only losses coming at home as well, Liverpool.
So it'll be close. If anything, I see a draw.
Yep.
It'll be neck and neck, but I do think Liverpool would want it more.
Okay. While we're on football, I found these unpopular opinions. I just want to get your take on some of them.
Okay.
Let's see if I can pull them up. Because some of them are ridiculous, but I just thought while we're on football, we might as well run with it. So, Mbappe won't win the Ballon d'Or, even if Real Madrid win the Champions League, because he is not the main man on the team. If he's not the main man on the team, who do you think is?
I actually haven't watched anything of Real Madrid, if I'm completely honest.
Could be Rodrigo, Jude, Vinny. Probably Vinny. Vinny would probably be your main man.
Yeah. So what was the statement?
Mbappe won't win the Ballon d'Or, even if Real Madrid win the Champions League, because he is not the main man on the team.
I don't know, man. That depends how their season goes. If he doesn't win it and he's not the main man, then you go to Vinny Jr. Has he won it before?
Vinny?
Yeah.
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I have to check that. I have a feeling he's won it
Did
before.
he win it last year?
Yeah, I have a feeling. So that could be the argument there. Depends on his stats. I mean, what does he do in the Champions League? What does he do in La Liga? How's the team doing overall? So, I mean, if he's not the main man, then he's not going to get it, is he? So,
okay. Next one. Neymar isn't as good as people make him out to be. We were talking about this earlier, about Neymar, and if he's even still playing football. But
out in the Saudis.
Weirdly enough, he's actually set for a return this week in the Saudi League. Do you think he's isn't as good as people make him out to be?
Liverpool lost to Nottingham away from home. I'm just confirming they didn't lose at Anfield.
Oh, I thought it was at Anfield.
No.
Oh, okay.
Is he overrated?
Yes.
No. I just think he dropped off. His ceiling was that high, and he was that high.
When he was at that Barcelona.
Point. Yeah, he was there.
Well, he was right in that conversation with Messi, Ronaldo,
Suarez,
at his peak.
Messi. He was. But it's just it does feel like wasted potential. I think to say he's not as good as people say he is incorrect. He's just gone for money rather than legacy. But I think he was as good as everyone said he was.
Talent-wise, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, he is top 3, probably. For sure. Just his football IQ, his actual ball control. He had that thing on a string not many other people could.
He was,
And he was just ruthless. He was creative. And he was just special coming at a young age.
Special talent,
Yeah, it was crazy. So I disagree with that.
He fitted into the Barcelona mold, which was an insane team at the time as well. He was in that conversation alongside Messi and Suarez.
And he's been plagued with injuries.
And he's been plagued with
battled injuries throughout his whole career. Yeah. So unfair.
He was hated basically because he was so good.
Yeah. Okay. Ter Stegen is one of the best goalkeepers of our generation.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Neuer, Courtois, De Gea.
De Gea is still my favourite by far.
I reckon you can name a few. I don't.
Donnarumma up there.
Is Donnarumma up there, or is he just good because we don't see a lot of him and we're just told he's good?
I think he was pretty phenomenal at such a young age. He was a standout. So he's up there. He's in the conversation. Is Ter Stegen the best? Is that what it said?
One of.
Yeah, he's one of. Absolutely. Yeah.
If one of means top 3, I don't think so. If one of means top 6, could be.
Who's your top 3 then?
Neuer, Courtois, De Gea probably.
I'd probably put him above Courtois.
You reckon?
I think Courtois dropped off quite a bit.
He, again, injury, but him at Chelsea, him for Belgium, he was probably the second highest rated on keeper for 5 years in a row behind Neuer.
Funnily enough, I think Iniesta said something about a future Barcelona team and who he would have, and he had Ter Stegen in his team.
Really?
Including himself as manager, so high praise.
Yeah. Steven Gerrard is the best midfielder of all time.
I have to say no. I'm not allowed to say yes, even if I thought, which I don't.
Nah.
So no.
Maradona is not a top 5 footballer of all time.
Probably is.
Let's go top 5. So you got Messi, Ronaldo, Pele. There's 3. You go Brazilian Ronaldo.
That's hard. Yeah. Ronaldinho, I would have in there.
Ronaldinho.
Messi, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho. That's really hard. Maradona is quite iconic, though. Yeah. Probably.
I don't know. It's hard. I don't know who you'd include above him. It's hard to not have him in your top 5. So I tend to disagree with that statement as well.
I can see him in a top 5.
Yeah. If Harry Kane started his career in Bayern, he'd be above Lewandowski and Benzema in the list of GOAT strikers. I guess just purely because he's just banging in goals.
Huge assumption. Huge assumption.
It's a big what if. But I think he's already probably up there, maybe. Is he above Lewandowski?
In terms of accolades, no, I don't think so. At all.
Well, he would have got them if he started at...
Huge assumption.
At Bayern.
Probably. I don't know.
Interesting.
Above Lewandowski and
Benzema. I don't think he's above Benzema. Benzema's quality.
Yeah.
He should have won the Ballon d'Or when he was... insane that. Oh, he did win the Ballon d'Or in 2022. I just searched up. Messi won the Ballon d'Or in 2023.
Okay.
I'm assuming because of the World Cup win in 2022.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, Vinny has not won it. He won the Socrates Award.
That's what it'll been. Yeah.
So, Vinny maybe for Ballon d'Or this year. Haaland and Yamal will have better careers than Messi and Ronaldo.
Haaland and Yamal?
Instant no for me. No way. Are you kidding me?
Then Messi and Ronaldo.
These guys have done it at the top level of football for what? 15, 16, 17 plus years?
They are the face of football and probably will be for a very long time. But I'm just thinking, I'm factoring in all the records Haaland's breaking right now in the Prem. In the Prem.
I don't think... Well, Norway are never going to win the Euros. They're never going to win a World Cup.
Yeah.
Ronaldo's won the Euros. Messi's won a World Cup. Ballon d'Ors, maybe. But I don't think they're getting what? Messi's got 7 Ballon d'Ors. Ronaldo's got 4 or 5.
It's different gravy.
It literally is different gravy. It'd be a tough call. I mean, fair play to them if they do, but I don't see it.
Nah, I don't see it happening.
Prime... I'm interested to see where you stand on this one. Prime Jesse Lingard was better than current Phil Foden.
than current Phil Foden?
Yeah.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
Prime Jesse Lingard?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
There's a period of time where Jesse Lingard was one of the best cams in the league, and I thought he won us some cups. I think he won us the FA Cup the one year as well. I can't remember which one. But there's been some good memories with Jesse Lingard.
So better than
There was
current Phil Foden?
him and Rashford Prime coming onto the scene. Fantastic. Better than current. Yeah, Phil
What
Foden.
about prime Phil Foden? Like what we've seen of Phil Foden? Better than prime Phil Foden?
Hard to say, especially around such a good team with Man City. Prime Jesse. I just think he works harder.
Okay, last one. And I don't know. Trossard
Oh,
is a better finisher than Haaland.
wow. No.
Does Haaland just get himself into good strong
Haaland
positions?
has moments of Zlatan-esque finishes, which
He
is
does.
why I say no.
Yeah.
Trossard has good finishes. I don't think he's the better finisher in general. And I think Haaland will get himself into better positions than Trossard would, whereas Trossard's scoring good goals, like he did for Brighton,
Yeah.
like he's doing a little bit now recently with Arsenal,
Yeah.
cemented his position, which is cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
But Haaland is getting into those positions and he's finishing them.
Yeah.
Whereas Trossard has good finishes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last year we saw quite a lot of Haaland's hat tricks just be like headers in the 6-yard box. Like he gets himself into those goal scoring positions and just finishes the job.
Yeah.
But this year we're starting to see he's turning on a dime and hitting it from outside the box into
which
the
is
bottom
does
corner.
Zlatan-esque, just sort of,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in,
Like-
I have this inch of space, I'm just going to boot the ball. Oh, it's in the net.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. It's a weird one, that. I'm not sure. I feel like you could have that argument for another couple players. I don't know why Trossard was the one chosen there, but fair enough to...
Must have been highlights reels, and they saw 10 tap-ins for Haaland, and then they're like, oh, 3 good Trossard goals.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, so we'll move on from football and we'll move to football. NFL is a third of the way through the season, 6 weeks done. And finally, like I said, favourites stole the show. 13 favourites were winning. If
Good
you
to
multied
see.
them head to head, like someone did, you would have got odds at $245.45.
All 13 favourites?
Yes.
Damn.
Which means if you put $10 on that, you would have got $2,500 back. You had the 49ers paying $1.55 over the Seahawks. Texans $1.35 over the Patriots. Packers $1.44 over the Cardinals. Eagles $1.22 over the Browns. Bengals, that would have been a sweat fest. $1.57 over the Giants. Bears $1.70 over the Jags. Ravens $1.35 over the Commanders. Buccaneers $1.70 over the Saints. Falcons $1.38 over the Panthers. Lions, the Cowboys stink, $1.60 there. Chargers $1.60 over the Broncos. Steelers $1.65 over the Raiders. And lastly, Colts $1.87 and a pick 'em
Wow.
over the Titans.
Wow.
13 legs, $245 odds. You'd have $10 on it. You do that every week. If you do that every week of the season, it's only $180.
You can't do that in the NFL every season because it's never that consistent. That is crazy to have 13 favourites win, in my opinion. That must have been the first one of the year.
Yeah,
It's been
100%. Because
hella
underdogs
inconsistent.
have been
running
eating.
rampant. Yeah.
So since we're a third of the way through the year, I thought we'd just look at. Don't need to dive too much into it all, but Chiefs are still favourites to win the Super Bowl. They're 5-0, paying $6. Then you got the Ravens and the 49ers at $8 and $7.50. So that's our top 3 check-in for a third of the way through. One of my fantasy teams is 0-6.
Oh,
One of them is 4-2.
nice.
2 of them are 4-2. And I think one of them's 3-3. So we're not
We
too
ignore the
bad. The
0-6.
0-6, I'm forgetting about that.
That's just limit testing, that one.
How's your Premier League fantasy team? Good?
Well, we didn't have any last week, did we?
Yeah.
It's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I think Mazraoui is a big loss for me.
Mm.
He had heart complications, had to get surgery off the back of the last game, which absolutely sucks for him. And also, less so, but still sucks for my fantasy team. So I have to swap him out, which is okay. And unfortunately, Brentford play United this week as well, which sucks because I got my Embuemo who's been scoring 1-minute goals. I'm like, I love this guy. And I'm like, please don't score.
Well, he could score and then United win 5-1.
That's a great point. I'm going to leave him in because you said that.
I feel like you can't leave him out. And back United to score 2 goals at home. Embuemo to score the one for Brentford. So
what I was impressed with was Onana. I think he's the highest scoring goalkeeper in the league.
Yeah, I think he's United's highest point scorer.
And I thought about him at the start of the season and I said, we're going to leak goals, but he's been saving so much and saving the odd penalty that he's just been racking up the points. Very interesting to see. But, I got Martinez and Leno. They're not doing too bad. Martinez had a great week last week, obviously against United. So, we're doing fine. We're doing all right.
Okay. And then just to wrap things up, NBA season isn't too far around the corner. And Netflix just released their Starting 5 documentary where they follow LeBron, Jimmy Butler, Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, and not Bronny, Domantas Sabonis.
I saw a great video of Bronny in his game with his dad in one of the games.
With his dad is crazy to see.
It is so funny. I'm going to send it to you. It was ripping him to shreds.
Bronny
Yeah.
was ripping his dad?
The guy was ripping Bronny for how terrible he was, and he broke it down piece by piece, and it's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, send it through. Starting 5, have you seen anything about it?
Starting 5?
Netflix? Yeah.
No.
I reckon you should watch it.
I might.
I've watched the first episode, and it's just like you just learn the personalities of the guys, and it is pretty cool to see. And I mean, it's a long, grueling season, the NBA.
It is, yeah. Back to back to back to back.
So yeah,
I might.
If you're into it, and like,
is Dennis Rodman in it?
No, The Last Dance he's in. Have you watched The Last Dance?
No.
Watch that too.
I don't watch anything basketball related, like at all, unless it's a TikTok. And then go.
You should, if you like any of
or
those,
it's Dennis Rodman clip.
Any of those Netflix series. I mean, or any of those team series, like the Everton Till I Die, no, Sunderland Till I Die, the Man City one. There's an Arsenal one.
Do you know why I don't watch those? I just get my brain automatically just thinks about Ted Lasso. And I go, yeah, that's a great series, but I don't want to watch that again. So then I don't watch Sunderland. But it's completely irrelevant. The Wrexham thing, the Sunderland thing. I just go, oh, that's Ted Lasso. I'm not watching it. I've already watched it. And my brain just not interested. It makes it feel, even with the Tottenham documentary, I'll watch clips from that. So maybe I'll watch some clips of Sunderland and whatever. But it's outtakes. I don't like watching the season. It makes the season feel fake or like satire or like it's like a sitcom at that point, and I don't feel like I don't know.
So you haven't watched any other like Drive to Survive either, or anything like that? The NASCAR one, Full Speed?
No,
because they get heaps of people hooked. Like,
I can imagine
the F1 got a massive uptick in popularity within our age because of Drive to Survive. Yes, NASCAR was a bit harder to kind of get around. There was only like a 6-episode series, I think. Very good though. Quarterback, receiver, all done very well. Done by Peyton Manning or Manning Productions.
So I love documentaries about players once their season is over. It feels very weird
to go through the season.
As a documentary a little bit.
You might like Last Dance then.
Yeah.
Talking about the last season Michael Jordan was with the Bulls. So, because that's all talking back in hindsight in the past rather than like receiver, like quarterback, like Starting 5 is how I'm imagining it. They're going through last year's season or the previous season on a week-to-week basis. So, well, maybe if you don't like that style, don't check it out. But maybe The Last Dance might be up to you.
Well, I mean, stuff like Notorious, like McGregor's first ever documentary I watched, but I think that was after already he was double champ and he was heading off towards boxing. So that was a good sort of like breakaway where you feel like he's moving off to something else. But maybe it's just a matter of at the end of a season just smashing it.
Yeah.
Just watching it, watching the recap, watching the story.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there'll be some.
I'm sure as soon as I start it, I'm going to be hooked without a doubt.
Yeah, well.
At the moment, my brain's like,
Well, I feel like they're good to watch when you're sick as well. Like, because you can just binge it all. Like, if you have a couple days just in bed and you're not moving too far, you just turn your laptop on, binge watch Netflix.
I've been watching a lot of podcasts and interviews with ex-managers of like United and like, let's say who would get together, like Ian Wright, and they had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer come in, and then they would have like.
What are they
all
talking
these
about? Just like
their time at United, and I think like Rio Ferdinand interviewed Jose Mourinho.
He is so
and they
good, by the
talk
way,
about
Rio.
all the ins and outs. Rio Ferdinand had Phil Jones on, you know, so all these people that had stints at the club, obviously, and they're just talking about the ins and the outs, which is very, very interesting. And they talk openly because they have no ties there anymore, so they are happy to spew. And they're happy to tell about deals that didn't go through and why they didn't go through. Yeah. And the process of, you know, getting a player into the club. So stuff like that was great to watch.
What about the Wayne Rooney documentary? Seen that one? That's good. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
Not sure.
Have a look. I think it's on Amazon maybe.
Yeah.
But that's good. And I mean, that's all looking on his past career. I didn't watch the David Beckham one though. I got like 2 episodes in. And then I never finished it for some reason.
Neither.
But yeah, I feel like
I like the round table stuff. I like when it's people conversing with each other rather than a specific storyline. It's just people being open and honest, and they're like, here's everything that went down and didn't go down because of these reasons while I was had the job, you know? That feels like a genuine discussion of people opening up rather than select clips of specific storylines.
So you like it being real and authentic.
Yeah, I feel like a genuine, like if you were chatting to them and asking them as if you were just sitting on a deck. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, this is what happened. Yeah. And you're like, oh shit, really? Man. Because I feel like you wouldn't get some of that stuff when people are performing for
the cameras.
A Netflix series, maybe. Yes. I don't know. Maybe it's exactly the same. I don't know because I haven't watched the Beckham documentaries, so.
I mean, they definitely get, like, it's up close and personal. It's real. Like, but yeah, I guess you're not having those upfront conversations behind the scene or what goes on behind the scenes. You get like an insight to their life and like how they go on a day-to-day basis. I mean, the Wayne Rooney one was very up close and personal, talking about his like cheating scandals and then going into brothels and all that sort of stuff, but still staying with his high school sweetheart and like working through those stuff. So you get like an insight into that. And then getting slandered by the public in the 2002 Euros or something. Yeah. So you get looks at that, but not that roundtable discussion, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, the Gary, what is it? They do something with Sky Sports.
Like Gary Neville podcast, that one.
It's like Gary Neville and it's Ian Wright. Yeah. Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, I see a bit of Gary Neville. I like Gary Neville. I like the conversations he has. Yeah.
Roy Keane. He's always good. He gets angry.
A bit of emotion.
Oh, he gets angry. Yeah, and he got angry with Ollie as well.
Did he?
Yeah. He's like, yeah, but it shouldn't be like that when you, you know, they're just like.
So funny when you get those differing opinions and massive, like, personalities going head to
and they're just so passionate.
And they're just like, nah, my way's right, your way's not. And the other guy's like, no. Nah. Not having any of that. Nice. All right. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Go watch some starting five, maybe. See how you like it. I'm going to finish it probably this weekend.
All righty.
But yeah, we will be back on Friday for another Odds On edition. Yeah. We'll probably look ahead more at the Everest because that is such a big event. It's just got Group 1 status.
Huge race.
G1. I'm looking forward to watching that. Hey?
G1 now.
Yeah. Ooh. Just got the Group 1 status. So
massive.
Huge for them. And
biggest race on earth.
$20 million worth of prize money is wild. So we'll have a look at that. The America's Cup might be all wrapped up and done by then.
And then AFC.
Auckland FC, we'll have A-League, Premier League, NFL, lots of stuff to bet on again this weekend. It's all back, so make sure you tune into that. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.